Do a roster reset here and look at the Lions from a draft perspective. Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah. Let's start with 16 overall. What do you think this new Lions administration is looking at, DJ?
Well, I think for the last few years, they've really focused on trying to protect their quarterback in Matthew Stafford. And I think they could finish the process this year with an offensive tackle. We saw Laken Tomlinson go to this football team last year. How about a Jack Conklin out of Michigan State? Plug him in. Look, it's a very short ride. You save on a little airfare right there as well. Bonus.
Send a car.
But somebody that brings toughness, somebody that can solidify one of those tackle spots. Riley Reiff, I think, is an underrated player, and he can play on the left or the right, and I can say the same about Conklin. So see where they get comfortable, and then you'll be set up front to keep Matthew Stafford protected. Would
be a great story. A former walk-on at Michigan State could end up potentially, if things go as you say, staying right there and making the short trip to the Lions. What do you think at 16, Bucky?
Well, I'm thinking on the other side of the ball, in the trenches, I'm going to say defensive tackle. The last couple years, they've lost two pivotal players, Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh. Let's get a replacement, someone inside that can be disruptive. Put alongside Haloti Ngata, allow those guys to really dominate. I'm thinking Jarran Reed from Alabama could be a guy that is in play. Nice player against the run stuffer, physical, tough, blue-collar worker, guy that can do the dirty work, allow those linebackers to run and chase. If you want someone who's a little more athletic, a guy who can give you something as a pass rusher, how about Chris Jones from Mississippi State? This is a guy that's athletic, high motor player, great hands at the point of attack, versatile, can play a couple of spots on that defensive line. You want to get back to playing great defense in the Motor City, add someone in the middle, a beefy defensive tackle to allow Ezekiel Ansah and some of those other players to get after it.
And if you don't get D-tackle at 16, this is as deep a D-tackle draft as we've seen in years. You could get one potentially at 46. Real quick here, replace Calvin in the first round, second round? What do you do?
I think that's something you're not going to replace him, first of all. There's no Calvin Johnson in this draft. There might not be one for the next 10 years. He's that special. But I think in the middle rounds, you can find some size receivers. We've talked about Sharon Peak a bunch, probably in that third round. I don't know they need to do that right away, but I think in those middle rounds, they could look for somebody.
Invested a lot in Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is a nice route runner. They have some complementary players around him. Golden Tate can step up and kind of play that number one role. They have some pieces. I don't think they have to jump in all out to go and get a wide receiver.
The Detroit Lions picking 16th in the first round, 46th in the second.